Are we on? Yes, we are. We are on. This is not the 7th time that I've recorded this, I promise. This is the final take now. It has been a day. It's been a full pre-period day. We've had the cramps, we've had the tears, we've had the procrastination, but here I am, okay? We still move. I am Rosie. I am a business and mindset mentor for female entrepreneurs that are looking for more fun, fulfillment, and freedom in their lives. And I love to help them find that through building powerful online brands using their passion and skills. Today, for the first episode, I want to talk to you guys about identity shifting, okay? And the reason that I think I've chosen this as my first episode is because it's something that I've experienced personally, but I think that a lot of the women that I work with and a lot of the women that I connect with in the online space and while building my business go through this, and it can be very difficult. So what is identity shifting? It's when you choose to change your identity so that you can move closer to the person that you actually want to be, okay? And I think a mistake that we make in life is that we think that isn't possible. So we stick labels on ourselves and kind of live to fit into those labels. We live to accommodate to those labels. And when you think about it, those labels could have been given to us when we were 5 years old. I've definitely had labels stuck on me when I was younger, which aren't all bad. You know, some of them are absolutely lovely. And I realised that I lived to those labels up until recent years. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I'd actually love to hear the labels that you've been given and, you know, the ones that you don't actually identify with or that you're trying to shift. Pop it in the comments or come and have a chat with me on Instagram and we can kind of talk about that because it's a really important topic. And recognizing that you are living within these labels is the first step to change if that is what you want to do. So how can identity shifting positively impact your life? If you are somebody that says, I'm just shy and introverted and I procrastinate a lot, and that's why I don't want to network in the online space. That's why I find it uncomfortable. Obviously, if you don't network in the online space, it's going to be quite difficult for you to build your brand or build your business. Every single day that you tell your brain or you tell someone else or you voice out louder in your head, I am an introvert, I don't like networking, I procrastinate, your brain is going to look for confirmation for that. And that confirmation is going to be in your actions. If you were to tell yourself you are an extrovert, you absolutely love networking, you love connecting with people. And by the way, I don't want to say that there's any correlation with being great at networking and being an extrovert. You know, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's just 3 labels that I've used here. So if you were to say to yourself every single day, I absolutely love networking, I'm extroverted, and I don't ever really procrastinate, I'm super efficient with my time management, your actions would literally follow that, okay? So you would live by those labels that you are giving yourself. So why not choose positive ones, okay? You can change your whole life just by your inner dialogue, just by the labels that you're giving yourself, the language that you are using, the way you talk to yourself every day, and the way that you speak about yourself to other people. You have the power to completely change your life if you want to do that. So when we choose to shift our identity, when we go through that process, what it does is it helps us to set bigger goals, but it also breaks those limitations that are in our mind. Because when we give ourselves labels, we give ourselves limitations, right? So if we say, oh, I procrastinate or I'm this, that's what we're limited to each day, okay? Oh, I just don't do that. That's just what I'm like. Have you heard that before? Have you done that with yourself before? Oh, the reason I'm just like that, I do that because that's just what I'm like. Or that's just what he's like. He speaks to people like that because that's just what he's like. It's like an excuse. And once you start the process of, okay, I'm recognizing that I'm giving myself these labels and it's really limiting me. My life could be so different if I didn't do that. You break the limitations, you set bigger goals, you open your mind so much more. If it was so easy just to shift our identity and live a better, more fulfilled life, why would we not all just do that? I'm going to tell you why. We have lived like this since we can remember. Okay, it's always been very comfortable and we've just fit in. Discomfort, standing out, pushing against what we've been told is not something that we strive to do in life usually. It's not something that we're shown to do in life. We are shown to choose the easy option. We always are looking for ways to make our life easier, okay? So why on earth would we say, okay, I'm going to make my life really difficult. I'm going to push myself out of my comfort zone. I'm going to fight against all these labels that have been put on me. And then I'm going to have to deal with people telling me that I've changed, which is, again, something else that's really uncomfortable. Now, I don't want to put you off the idea of shifting your identity or starting to recognize the labels that you put on yourself and choosing to move forward from that, okay? Because yes, it's uncomfortable and yes, it is a process, but it's a process that you can work through and you can make your life better with it, okay? So identity shifting will mean shedding some of your identities, shedding some of the labels that you've been given, shedding some of your behaviors, your habits. You may even have to distance yourself from certain people in your life that are used to you being a certain way and that fuel that. And that's really difficult. When I set up my business, I have had major identity shifts. I've had major mindset shifts. And they've made me look at things that happened maybe when I was younger, within my friendship groups, at school, my family, any social situations that actually I developed a mindset because of the situation that I was in. And that's not the mindset that I want to carry through my life. I want to change that in order to grow every single day and be open to self-development. So how can we overcome that? How can we overcome all of that discomfort and move with it and shift our identity in order to live a better life? First things first, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Are you in a position where you're starting to realize that the relationships that you have with your friends, maybe with your partner, maybe with some family members are no longer serving you? Are you realizing that you're surrounded with people or you're consistently in situations that don't feel aligned anymore? Do you feel like you know that a different version of you is coming, but you don't know how to move away from the current version of yourself? If this sounds familiar, it's probably because you are going through an identity shift and you may not have fully embodied that yet. You may not have said, okay, I recognize why I don't feel aligned and this is what I need to do to move forward. And I know it can feel extremely difficult. I know it can be uncomfortable. And I know it can feel like, well, who am I? Am I lost? Do I know who I am? What are my values? What are my beliefs? And how do I deal with that when I've got these relationships built over years and years and years that are built on me carrying these labels? First of all, connect with yourself, your true self. So really go deep into you. Look inwards. I highly, highly, highly recommend you do that through meditation. Even if it's 5-10 minutes a day. Taking that time to be present and practice being in that moment is really going to raise your self-awareness. It's going to enable you to take control of your thoughts and decide how you want to move forward. So without even knowing, we are on autopilot, okay? Day in, day out, we are telling ourselves things. We wake up and we're like, I'm this, I'm that, and then our habits follow the labels, okay? The labels come from the inner dialogue and the habits follow the labels. And then what does that do? That shapes your whole life. The first thing you have to do is become aware of those thoughts and start changing them. Okay, so inner dialogue. Start telling yourself the opposite. Start telling yourself what you want to identify as. Start telling yourself how you want to be recognized, what you want to be known for. So if right now you're saying, I'm a procrastinator, I'm lazy, I'm just that person that does that, I want you to tell yourself what you want to be. I manage my time so efficiently. I am confident. I'm strong. I'm an action taker. I am ambitious. I make shit happen. Okay, I want you to start telling yourself those things until you believe them. And that may take a little while, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. You will reach a point where you're like, there's evidence to say that I'm an action taker. There's evidence to say that I'm managing my time. Distance yourself from the people that make you feel like it's not possible to change. And that is hard. I completely get that. It's so difficult. In your 20s, you have friends that have come from school, that have come from college, that have come from university, situations where we've been forced to make friends. We've been given, those groups of people. In life after that, you kind of decide who you want to hang around with. You decide who you're going to socialize with. You decide who you're going to spend your time with. But we carry relationships from school, from college, from university, and we think we have to continue with those relationships. And I hate for it to sound harsh, but you don't. You don't have to continue with any relationships. Those relationships serve you at a certain point of your life, but that doesn't mean they're going to serve you at every point of your life. And that is okay. Accepting that that is okay is the first thing you need to do. You're not a bad person for changing. Change is great. Growth is great. Self-development is amazing. And I encourage you to invest your time and energy into all of those things. So how can we step away from those relationships that impact us negatively without it feeling extremely heavy? So the first thing I would say is you choose what you do with your time. You set your boundaries, okay? There's gonna be a whole nother video on this. But you choose what you do with your time. You set your boundaries and you can very nicely swerve conversations you don't want to be having anymore. You can change the conversation, okay? So if you're going out with people that talk about things that you don't necessarily think impact your life positively, you have the power to switch that conversation and shift it to something that is more positive. Understand that there are certain people in your life for certain different reasons. So if you've got people in your life that you feel like you don't want to cut them out completely, but you also don't want to spend every single day talking to them, then slowly move it to that. Slowly move the relationship that way. Distance yourself from speaking every single day and choose to maintain that relationship as and when you want it. Know that it is okay to walk away from toxic relationships. And the last thing that I want to say to you guys, if you feel like you're going through an identity shift and you are finding it emotional, heavy, exhausting, look for role models. Look for people, mentors, idols. Look for people that you can look up to for inspiration, that make you feel like it is okay to be changing your life, to make you feel like it is possible to be changing your whole life. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. That was just a quick clip on identity shifting. I will be going much more into the topics that I've spoke throughout today. For example, setting boundaries, creating healthier habits in your life, breaking through limitations. If these are topics that you are interested in, please hit subscribe. If today's been helpful for you, feel free to share this video with your friends, share and tag me on socials, or just send me a message over on Instagram. Thank you.